Now, some of the people who regret leaving the military the most are not the people who failed after they got out. They're the people who succeeded. They built careers, they made decent money, they moved on with life, and years later, they quietly realized what they walked away from. Because what most people in the military do not understand is this: the true value of military service is not your paycheck. It's what happens if you stay long enough for the system to start working for you instead of just using you. And today, I want to talk to you honestly about the hidden cost of leaving too early. Greetings and salutations. This is the Adjutant. And today I want to have a very honest conversation with you. Not an emotional conversation, not a recruiting conversation, not propaganda, just truth. Because over the years, I have met many veterans who have left the military early and later realized they did not fully understand what they were giving up. Now, let me say this carefully. Some people absolutely should leave the military. Some environments become toxic. Some careers stop aligning with your purpose. Some people have family situations, medical concerns, emotional exhaustion, or opportunities outside the military that truly make living the right decision by leaving the military. Now, this video is not about shaming anyone for separating, but what I do want to discuss is the hidden cost of leaving too early without understanding the long-term consequences. Because when most younger military members think about getting out, they usually focus on freedom. Freedom from formations, freedom from inspections, freedom from toxic leadership, freedom from deployments, freedom from the structure. And I understand that. I truly do. But what many people fail to understand is that the military compensation system is heavily backloaded, meaning the longer you stay, the more disproportionately valuable your service becomes. The first few years, you often feel underpaid, underappreciated, overworked. But somewhere later in the journey, things begin compounding. Your rank increases, your experience increases, your stability increases, your retirement system starts becoming meaningful. Your TSP has time to grow. Your healthcare picture changes. Your disability protections become more pronounced. Your family stability improves. And then suddenly, you are no longer just earning a paycheck. You're building infrastructure for your future life. And many people leave right before that infrastructure starts becoming truly powerful. I have seen people leave at 8 years, 10 years, 12 years, 14 years, and spend the next 25 years trying to recreate what they walked away from. I have often told the story when I practiced law. I was a criminal defense attorney and I would battle against prosecutors. And what happened, I ran into a prosecutor, wonderful woman. She used to be in the Marine Corps and got out after 10 years. And I was retired from the Army. And she said one of her biggest regrets was that she didn't stay in and retire. Now, not because, people walk away because they're failures. You should understand that. But because civilian life often is far more financially unstable than people imagine. Now, yes, there are people who get out and become extremely successful. That attorney, the prosecutor was successful. But here is the part many younger military members misunderstand. Civilian success usually comes with higher instabilities, layoffs, healthcare costs, retirement uncertainty, economic downturns, corporate restructuring, age discrimination, housing pressure, and self-funded retirement risk. In the military, a lot of your life is subsidized. Your health care, your housing allowance, you have steady pay, retirement structure, tax advantages, security, and people often underestimate the value of stability until they no longer have it, especially during economic uncertainty. Now, let's talk about retirement, all right? We're going to talk about retirement here, okay? Because this is where many people dramatically underestimate the math. A military pension is not just, some paycheck, all right? For many retirees, that pension becomes foundational layer of financial survival for the rest of their lives. And when combined with VA disability and TSP growth, Social Security later, and medical benefits, you begin building something very powerful: income layering. That is where long-term wealth stability often comes from. Not one giant income source, but multiple stable streams working together. And many people, military members, they walk away before those layers fully mature. Now, emotionally, there is another hidden cost people rarely discuss: identity, purpose, structure, mission, community. The military can become frustrating, exhausting, even painful at times, but it also gives many people direction. And some veterans discover after separation that freedom without structure, is just chaos. Now, nobody talks about that enough. Nobody talks enough about how many veterans quietly struggle after transition because they've lost not just a job, but an identity, a tribe, if you will, a mission. And sometimes people realize too late that they were not actually running towards something better. They were simply trying to escape discomfort. And those are two very different things. Now, again, this does not mean everybody should stay in for 20 years. Absolutely not. But I believe every military member should ask themselves some brutally honest questions before separating. Am I leaving because I truly have a better long-term plan? Or am I leaving emotionally? Am I running toward opportunity? Or am I running away from temporary discomfort? Have I fully calculated healthcare costs, retirement costs, lost pension value, lost stability, lost compounding investment growth? Do I even understand what I may be giving up 20 years from now? Because youth often overvalues immediate freedom and undervalues long-term security. And maturity teaches you that stability has tremendous value, especially as you age, especially when your body changes, especially when economic conditions shift, especially when responsibility increases. Now, one more thing. There is also the psychological phenomenon I have observed over the years. Many military members assume civilian life will automatically make you happier. And sometimes, it does. Many discover something unexpected. Every environment has stress. Every career has politics. Every workplace has frustration. Every life path comes with trade-off. The military is difficult. Civilian life can also be difficult. The question is not which life is perfect. The question is which long-term trade-off structure best supports the life I actually want. That is the real conversation. Now, for those who have already separated, this video is not condemnation. Many veterans build wonderful lives after service. They thrive, they grow, many find peace. This video is simply about awareness, wisdom, long-term thinking, and helping younger military members understand that decisions made in your 20s can echo throughout your 50s and 60s. The military is one of the few systems left in America that still offers a pathway toward long-term financial stability. And before walking away from that, you should fully understand its value, not emotionally, not impulsively, but strategically. And so there you have it. I hope this has been helpful. This is the Adjutant, and I'll see you in the next one. I wish you all blessings and blessings. Shalom.